to Pica Poco Kitchen. Today we're making elotes. Vámonos! For us Mexicans, corn is more than just nourishment. It is a direct connection to our ancestors. It is a symbol of our identity. It tells the story of how civilizations settle and advance through agricultural technology. And most importantly, it is one of the main elements in the cosmovision of our culture. And this is repeated throughout different peoples of the Americas. The Zapotec and Mixtec saw corn as the bridge between the natural world and the sacred. The Mexica saw corn as a divine gift from Quetzalcoatl. Or the Mayan, who told the story of Popol Vuh, where two brothers made out of corn went through a journey in the underworld to bring life back to the world of the living. So that's how I can proudly say that we are made of corn. My number one favorite street food is elote preparado. And I normally go around by saying so-and-so is among my favorite foods in this category, but I can tell you with all the honesty of my heart that my number one street food is elote. There is nothing like going on a walk or having the craving and going out and finding a cart of elotes. You can have it on a cup or on a stick if you don't mind getting messy. Some people spend a lot of money for the chef cooking in front of you experience. Well, this is pretty much that. And you won't believe me when I show you how easy it is to make it at home. The only key element, at least for me, is the type of corn you're gonna use. The closest I can get is when I get my hands around some white corn. If wherever you live you are fortunate enough to get cacahuacintle, I am so jealous. Because there's nothing more disappointing than get a yellow sweet corn for an esquite or an elote. I'm so sorry, and I know some of you, that's the only thing you have access, and if that's it, no judgment. But for me, it is really difficult to enjoy. But no matter what, I'm gonna tell you exactly how to make it at home so you get the closest experience that you could if you ever visited Mexico. So let's get to it. To cook the corn, I'll be using my pressure cooker with the steam attachment. At the bottom of the pot, I'm gonna add 1¼ cups of water. Traditionally, it is salted with Tequesquite, but I couldn't find the mineral, so I'm gonna be using 1 tablespoon of Kosher salt and just a pinch of Epazote for a hint of aroma and flavor. Here is the white corn that I'll be using. Traditionally, for both esquites and elote in Mexico, we use white corn. When it's seasoned, preferably cacahuacintle, because it has huge, white, and tender corns. I'll say avoid at all costs yellow corn if you want to keep it traditional, because the sweetness of yellow corn messes up with the flavor that you would expect. If you're using a pressure cooker like me, cook your corn between 30 and 40 minutes. Depending on the type of corn you're using, please research how long it will take for it to cook. If you're using your stove and your corn still has the full husk, submerge your corn in the water and cook in your stovetop for 2 hours. While we wait, let's make some spicy salsa. This recipe is for a small batch. I have 1 Guajillo pepper clean and deveined and 10 Árbol peppers that I will also be deseeding, just to control the spice. Snap the top and shake down. You may need to press. Don't worry if it breaks because we're gonna grind it. We need to get rid of the seeds so our salsa doesn't become bitter. Transfer your peppers to the stove to give them a little toast. I like to cut the guajillo to help the blender later. Just toast them for a couple of minutes. Make sure not to burn them and transfer into the cup of your blender or your spice grinder. Add salt to taste, around 1 teaspoon, half a teaspoon of garlic, and 1 tablespoon of sugar to balance out the bitterness of the peppers. Take that to the blender. It's gonna take a couple of pulses and a strong blender. You may run it through a sieve if you want, but I wasn't really bothered about that. If you want, you can save some of this powder to sprinkle on top of your elote for a spicier treat. The rest I'm gonna empty in this squeeze bottle. To that, I'll be adding the juice of a lime, but as you can see, I chose the most ginormous lime that I could find, and that ended up being way too much. So scratch that and use only half a lime. Because of my mistake, my sauce ended up being super liquid, so I had to go back to the powder that I had reserved and add it back. It didn't make up a lot of a difference in the end, so I suggest adding the lime juice as you see because this sauce is supposed to be kind of thicker, but I will have to do with that. As you can see, this type of white corn does take a yellow hue after you cook it, but as long as the flavor is mild, I'm fine with that. I'm gonna stick some skewers at the bottom because I didn't have the thick sticks that you would use for apples in the end. But if you don't have any, I think that the corn sticks will work as well. Now, the assembling. First and most importantly, we're gonna go for a little bit of lime. So I'm gonna use the ginormous leftovers of the lime because you just want to touch a hint, not too much. And then the mayo, my favorite part. This is my favorite mayo. You can find it in the regular store in the international aisle. I love it and I don't see myself using any other kind. But you do whatever you have. Make sure to cover well because we want the cheese to stick. And you can go two ways here. You can use Cotija, which will have a saltier flavor, or fresco. I'm using fresco because I couldn't find Cotija this time. And do as much as your heart desires. At this point, the vendor would ask you, ¿del que pica o no pica? If you say del que pica, they will squirt some of this salsa on top of your elote and also some of the spicy powder. And if you ask for el que no pica, then they will sprinkle some chili powder, probably piquin or something that is not too hot, or Tajín like it is in my case because I had to use the spicy powder. But Tajín works perfectly as well because it has a little hint of lime. So ready? Here you go. And here you have it. Simple, smells delicious, and I can't hardly wait. You can go with the toppings as much or as little as you want. Definitely mayo and cheese are gonna be a must. And then you can choose between spicy, not spicy, powder, chili, liquid chili, any kind you want. And I know that lately people are going crazy. They're coming up with creative ways and add-ons like Cheetos Fuego or Doritos or many other things that they like to put on them. But for me, I like them simple. Just mayo, cheese, and chili. And of course, a lot of mess. So let's get messy. Where? Just great. And you will always get just a tiny little napkin like this to wrap at the bottom of your corn that sometimes gets wet because of the drippings of the corn, and that's it. So be ready to go around just like I was. Go around your house or your streets or wherever with your face full of cheese and chili and everything. And also, if you put a lot of chili in it, your face is gonna sting. So just have that in mind. If your date takes you to get elotes, they don't care that you have cheese in your teeth, chili in your face, and some corn in between your teeth. That's the one. Yeah, like that's the only measurement for partners these days. Anyway, get messy. Enjoy it. It doesn't matter. Nobody's judging you. It's about enjoying. And I hope you do. I hope you enjoy this recipe just like this video. And if you did, please share with your friends. Like, subscribe, and be notified. And for more, follow me on the socials. Adios, amigues.